is there anything more beautiful than the rivalry between two NHL teams in the same province? You only have to sing one anthem, animosity between the two fan bases, just enough passive aggression in the air to fog up every visor on the ice. That's the Battle of Ontario, baby, where friendships are tested, drinks are spilled, and Leafs fans pretend it's not that serious while still losing their minds on Twitter. Ottawa is definitely guilty of that as well. Tonight, it was Toronto versus Ottawa, and whether you bleed blue or wear that awkward shade of red and black, you know this one's going to end a little spicy. Let's talk about it.
Backcheck, forecheck, and paycheck.
This was a series that I was excited to see. Call it what you want, but there's something a little bit satisfying about watching two of your team's rivals duke it out, tear each other apart, potentially blow each other up so that their chances down the stretch isn't as good as it could be. But I don't know if that's what's going to happen in this series. Interesting game tonight. Interesting one. It was deceptive because when the puck dropped in this one, it felt like this was going to go the distance. Both teams had a spring in their step. We were seeing really big hits early. But before long, OEL makes it 1-0 for Toronto. I mean, Scott Laughton is patient here. He develops the play nicely. There's a real reliance on the forecheck, and that's what made it happen for them. This was a hockey goal. Strange because Ottawa seems to be getting more opportunities, but Toronto is getting the better opportunities. We see Sanderson pull the puck off the line here. What was this? The second or third shot of the game? This could have been 2 goals and 2 shots? No, I think that's the third shot of the game. Still, Ullmark looking shaky, and it continues. Not before we see Benoit absolutely flatten Cousins. But then directly after that,
lead, home free, Mitch, Marner scores!
Yeah, that's Mitch Marner making it 2-0. He was sprung quick here. Stretch pass. Ottawa looks stunned. And you know, this isn't how they envisioned this series starting. Things quiet down for a few minutes, but then Ottawa responds.
Corner by Perron, up with the puck, Cousins, stopped by Stolarz, rebound scores, and Ottawa.
Great response here by Ottawa. It felt like they had to respond here because they were losing grip. This goal is not going to make any highlight reels, but it's a goal. That's going to do it for the first period. It's going to be 2-1 for Toronto. Shots are 13-5 for Ottawa. Before we get into the second period, can I ask you a favor? Subscribe. Listen, I don't have any money for you or anything like that, but it would really help me out. We're trying to make it to 13,000 subscribers, and we're well on our way. So become part of this community. I promise, you're not going to regret it. So the second period starts. Maybe Travis Green had a conversation about, hey, we're beating them in shots. We just have to make our shots count. And, you know, Ullmark, a couple extra saves would have really helped us out there. And to their credit, Ottawa does come out with a certain degree of spunk in the second period. But I think if you're an Ottawa fan, you probably want to see a little bit more, huh? Then the controversy starts because Stützle takes what I would call a soft boarding penalty. And these penalties, I say this all the time. Being a Habs fan, yeah, we get some bad penalties. But penalties, they have ripple effects, right? And here's one of them.
18 on the last 9.
Certainly was an Achilles heel against Boston last year. There's a shot in front, score!
Power play goal for Tavares, 3-1. Nylander and Marner putting up some apples on this one. This one probably felt pretty bad for Ottawa because you kind of see it in their play for a little bit in this period. They're playing frustrated. They're playing with bad vibes. We see Tavares get rocked underneath the chin with a cross check. Looked really bad, dangerous, obviously. Thought this was going to be a major. Berube wanted it, but they're going to review this and change their mind.
Video review. Ottawa, number 71, has been assessed a 2-minute minor penalty for cross.
2-minute penalty for Greig. As usual, I think this is probably a pretty dangerous precedent, but it's what we had to work with, and I agree with it. 2 minutes. So now Ottawa is on the PK, and Gaudette is going to make things worse. He sends Matthews into the boards. Yeah, Gaudette's going to go to the box for boarding, and we're going to see a 5-on-3 here for Toronto. And it doesn't take very long for Toronto to make Ottawa pay on this one.
In that 82nd game of the year.
So Tavares on this draw wins it from Giroux, and shot scores!
4-1 Toronto. If you're a Leafs fan, you're probably feeling pretty good at this point. Nylander enters the slot. He finds a shot he likes. No reason to pass it, just put it in. At this point in the game, you're looking at the shots, you're looking at the goals. Ullmark leaving in 4 goals and 10 shots. Yikes. And here's a familiar look. Ottawa has 2 in the box, but Toronto has 1. Back to the power play for Toronto, but we're nearing the end of the period. We're going to have to put that on pause while we go to the third period. 4-1 for Toronto. Shots are now 21-18 for Ottawa. So Toronto has narrowed down the shot disparity. Third period starts. Back to the same type of action, but Ottawa doesn't seem like they have their tails between their legs as much anymore. Toronto can't get anything going in that power play, and Ridly Greig is going to make it 4-2.
Keeps the Maple Leafs. Artem Zoo up high. Pinto right on. Rebound. Another stop by Stolarz. Rebound scores.
A bunch of action here in front of the net. Greig comes in. He might be coming in off the bench, and he bangs it in. So maybe they can collect themselves from this. Maybe they can make something out of it.
Robertson dash again. Back to the line, Riley. His shot scores.
Nope. That's Morgan Riley. Gonna make it 5-2 for Toronto. Shot from the point. I thought this went right in, and it was just the traffic in front that fooled Ullmark. But Highmore tips it, and it does not help out. He's doing too much. We then see Nyes blocking a shot from Shabbat. Took a real stinger there off his hand. It looked rough there for a second, but just hold on. Another not so great penalty for Ottawa here. Soft one. Oliver Ekman-Larsson gets cross-checked in front of his own net. Batherson puts him down. So it's going to be an offensive zone penalty for Batherson. Travis Green must be losing his mind. Toronto once again goes to the power play and makes Ottawa pay.
2 power play goals in the game. Started with a face-off win by Tavares. It's loose in front. Nyes there. Scores!
There he is. Nyes. His hand must be okay after all. 6-2 for Toronto. They pay for it. Ottawa fans are probably fuming, and the players are probably not any better. We do see Ridly Greig. Keep saying his name. If you say his name 3 times, he'll appear in the mirror. He drives the net hard. He says, I'm going to go into Stolarz or get a goal here, and it's going to be the former. Not a good look, and kind of scary for Toronto fans who know Stolarz's history with injuries. Not too much to say after this point, except there's some fun stuff before the end of the game. A little bit of a scrum along the boards. Domi comes in all hot and heavy and gets hit up high by Clevin. That doesn't look fun. Luckily, Domi has a thick skull. The refs send a bunch of the boys and their mothers to the box. And then the game ends with more fun stuff. 6-2 for Toronto. They're going to take game 1. So how you feeling, Toronto fans? When the game started, I said, this kind of looks like a different Toronto team, a different Toronto playoff team. But after the first goal, I was like, okay, I see some similarities. I'm sure there's some worries about Ullmark for Ottawa, but I think he needs to just straighten out, get another game in. I'm sure he'll be fine. I mean, a lot of these goals, you can't blame him too much. So many power play goals. I think the message for Ottawa is reduce your undisciplined penalties. And Toronto, just come out the same way you did this game. Roll Stolarz again. Roll Stolarz until he's not working no more. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting series. That's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate all the support you've been giving me lately. We're well on our way to 13,000 subscribers. I would never have imagined us getting this far. It's incredible, really. So again, thank you so much for your support. Like the video, helps me out with something or other, I don't know. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Why? Subscribe. And as always, I'll see you down in the comments.